Welcome back to the Gemara in Bava Kamma, Daf Bava Mebet. We're picking up from where we left off in the last homework. If you remember, we're discussing cases that don't quite fit in to one or the other of the avot, but rather are the reason that the Mishnah explains to you what the avot have in common and what's different between them. And specifically, we've been focusing on the overlap between shor and bor, and also that which is different between them. So here's yet another example of a case that you wouldn't have been able to learn just from the cases in the Mishnah, but that you can learn from the Mishnah's statement about what they have in common. Ravina Amar, La'atuye haditnan, to include that which was taught in the Mishnah, Hakota v'ha'ilan shenaflu l'reshut harabim, v'hiziku, patur milashalem. We looked at this case last week. A wall or a tree that falls, presumably from your own property, into the public domain, and it does damage, you don't have to pay. You, the owner of the property that this thing was located on, you don't have to pay for damages. But if people, the town, let's say, had given this person a set time by which they had to cut down this tree or take down this wall, meaning it was falling apart, it was sick, it was diseased, whatever, and the town said, you're going to have to take it down, and they said you have to take it down by X date, v'naflu b'toch hazman, and it falls down within that time period, v'hiziko, patur, and it falls down within that time period before the deadline is up, and it does damage, again the owner is patur. La'achar hazman chayav. But if the time passed and the owner didn't do anything about it, and then it does damage, then they are chayav. I'm going to put all of this as an answer. It's really a response to the question of what cases are included by this statement in the Mishnah. And of course, you realize that all of this first part is a Mishnah. Hechidami, what exactly is the case? The Gemara wants to know. Drilling down on this a little bit. Ita afkara, ben l'Rav, ben l'Shmuel, hainu bor. If it was made hefker already, then for Rav or Shmuel, it would be a case of bor. We've seen this before. Something that's hefker in Reshut Harabim is considered to be a case of bor. I'm going to put this as part of the challenge. Ma'ishna bor tehiziko matsui u'shmirato alacha hani nami hazikan matsui u'shmiratan alacha. What's the difference? This is a rhetorical question. I'll say also it's part of the challenge. What's the difference between bor, which is it's common for it to do damage and you have to guard it, and the same thing is true here in this case of the tree or the wall. Italo afkarinhu l'shmuel da'amar kulam miborol amadnu hainu bor. And if you didn't make it hefker, if you, the owner, didn't make this tree or wall hefker before it fell, then for Shmuel it still counts as bor, because Shmuel says that anything that is in Reshut Harabim and left in Reshut Harabim and does damage is bor. So either way, it seems synonymous with bor. La'olam de'afkarinhu. No, for sure it's definitely a case where you made it hefker. V'lo dami labor, but it's not similar to bor. Or it's not fully similar to bor. Malabor sheken tchilat asiyato l'nezek, tamar bahani she'en tchilat asiyato l'nezek. In the case of bor, tchilat asiyatam l'nezek. From the time that it was made, it's able to do damage. It's sort of set up to do damage, and that's not true for a tree or a wall. Shor yochiach. Okay. So maybe it's shor. Maybe it really fits into the category of shor very, very well, and so we don't need both categories. Mal shor sheken zarko elechu lahazik, bor tochiach v'chazar hadin. No, but shor has the property in which it is able to go out and do damage, and obviously the tree and the wall don't have that same property. So maybe it's really bor, v'chazar hadin. We've gone back around. In other words, we've proven now that you really can't learn this case from either bor or shor. You need the overlap between them. Here's a new quote from the Mishnah to examine. Keshehizik chav hamazik. We saw this, again, this is a quote from the Mishnah. When in all these cases when there's damage, the mazik, the damager, is financially responsible. Chav hamazik, question mark, exclamation point, chayav hamazik mibayilei. It is required to say, it should have said, chayav hamazik. What is this language of chav? Why not say chayav? Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav, Hai Tana Yerushalmihu. This Tana, the Tana who said this statement, is a Yerushalmi. He's from Jerusalem. The Tani Lishna Kalile. And they speak kind of very concisely. They use short forms of words in Jerusalem. That's just kind of what they do. Maybe that's why the Talmud Yerushalmi has a lot of shortened forms of words, and so it's just a linguistic thing, nothing more. Moving on in the Mishnah. L'shalem tashlumei nezek. So next quote from the Mishnah, the thing that they're obligated to pay is tashlumei nezek, is the payment for doing damage. Again, we'll put that in quotes. That comes from the Mishnah. Okay. Tanu Rabbanan. So now we have a Breita, another Tanaitic statement, starting with a quote from Shmot Chaf Bet. Meitav sadehu umeitav karmo yishalem. This is, again, a quote from Shmot, that the damager has to pay from the best of their field and the best of their vineyard. Oops. Let's highlight that in yellow. Okay. Meitav sadehu shel nizak, umeitav karmo shel nizak. So it sounds like the initial assumption is, or the initial opinion is, it's the best of the fields of the one who was damaged, and the best of the fields, the best of the vineyards of the one who was damaged. Divrei Rabbi Yishmael. In other words, how do we determine the best? So you have to pay back, according to this reading, you have to pay back in accordance with the best quality that the injured party has, right? You look and see, like, what's the highest stock rating that any of the stocks of the injured have, and you pay back in accordance with that. For Rabbi Akiva Omer, and Rabbi Akiva says, Lo bahakatuv el legabot lenizakin min hayidit, v'kal v'chomer lahakdash. And Rabbi Akiva says, a statement that we're not going to fully understand for a while, no, the pasuk only comes to tell you about when it comes to collecting, that the damaged, the injured party collects from the best of the property, and kal v'chomer, that this applies to hekdesh, which again, we'll get back to this idea. So all of this is a breita. All of this is kind of addressing this issue in our Mishnah. Rabbi Yishmael, achal shmeina, mishalem shmeina. Achal kechusha, mishalem shmeina. We'll call this a question or a challenge to the opinion of Rabbi Yishmael. It sounds, according to Rabbi Yishmael, like if, let's say, your ox eats somebody's really great vegetable garden, you have to pay a really great piece of garden back, right? Because it's in accordance with the really great property of the damaged. But if the animal ate, something of yours that was kind of not so great, do they have to pay back from really great land? Like, how does this kind of match up? Amar Rav Idi bar Avin. So Rav Idi bar Avin explains, Hacha b'maya askinan. Here, what are we dealing with? What exactly is the case here? Kegon she'achal aruga bein harugot. It's a case where the animal, let's say your ox, ate a small plot of land among a lot of plots of land. And we're not really sure what the quality of that land was. Like, there's lots of little chunks of land, and some of them were great, and some of them were not so great. And we can't remember whether that particular chunk that the animal ate was good or bad. Demishalem shmina. So in that case, where you're not really sure, sort of taking no chances, we have the damager pay back from the best of the land. Amar Rava. Rava challenges this interpretation. Rava is not happy with this interpretation. Uma ilu yadinan dikkuchusha achal lo mishalan ala kechusha. Hashid lo yadinan dikkuchusha achal ishmina achal mishalem shmina. Hamotzi mechavero alav haraya. Rava says, could it really be that if we know that the animal ate a not very good piece of land, then the damager only has to pay back a not so great piece of land? And here, just because we don't know if it ate a bad piece of land or if it ate a good piece of land, the damager has to pay back the best. We have this rule, hamotzi mechavero alav haraya, which means that someone who is demanding payment from somebody else, pretty much in any financial circumstance, halachically, if you are the one doing the demanding, it's up to you to prove that the other person owes you the money. In other words, I can't just say, it's not consistent with our rulings in general to say, oh, your animal ate my land, and we don't know if it was good or bad, so let's assume that it was really good land that your animal ate. No. Means if I think that, then I really would have to prove it. So this is all a challenge to that explanation of Rabbi Ishmael's opinion. Ella, Amar Rav Acha bar Yaakov, Hacha b'mayaskinan. So instead we have a new answer, new explanation of Rabbi Ishmael's position. What are we dealing with? Kegon shahayta idit denizak, keziburit mazik. We're dealing with a case where the best land, basically best and worst, is all relative. It's not an absolute standard. It's not like there's gold star land and bronze star land. It's just all relative. So in this case, the best land of the injured is equal in value. It's equal in kind of goodness level to the worst land of the injurer. Okay, so just basically the damaged person, even their best land is only as good as the worst land of the injurer. The injurer is clearly the wealthier, the better off in this scenario. Uvaha plige, and here's what they're disagreeing about. Rabbi Yishmael savar b'denizak sheminan, Rabbi Akiva savar it's b'mazik sheminan. And what they're really disagreeing about is sort of according to whose standard you actually do the assessment. Rabbi Yishmael says that we assess, we evaluate what meitav is, what really good land is, in terms of the property of the one who was damaged. So whatever his best property is, that's how good you have to pay back. And if your worst property is equivalent to his best property, then you can actually offer your worst property. Whereas Rabbi Akiva would say, no, we evaluate it according to the mazik, according to the damager. And so the damager has to pay with the best of their land, even if the best of their land is better than the best land that belongs to the damaged party. It's a little complicated, but hopefully that made sense. This is all an answer. My time is Rabbi Yishmael. What's Rabbi Yishmael's reasoning? Going back to Rabbi Yishmael's position in the Breita. Why does he think this? Assuming that we accept this explanation, or even if we don't, but what's his reasoning? Ne'amar sadeh lamata, v'ne'amar sadeh lamala. It says sadeh below, and it says sadeh above. Basically, it says sadeh multiple times. If you look at this pasuk, Ki yaver ish sadeh o kerem v'shilach et be'iro, u'bi'er b'sadeh acher, meitav sadehu meitav karmo yishalat. So you can see that sadeh actually appears 3 times in this pasuk, that you let your animals go into another person's land, and it gets destroyed, and so he has to make it up to him with the best of the field or vineyard. So since it says sadeh below and it says sadeh above, right, twice in the pasuk, ma sadeha amor lamala denizak, just as the first sadeh that's mentioned refers to the field of the injured, right, the damaged. That's where you let your animal graze, and that's how the damage got done. Af sadeha amor labatza denizak. So too, the field that's mentioned, in terms of payment, is the field of the damager. This is the answer. For Rabbi Akiva, and Rabbi Akiva, meaning what is Rabbi Akiva's reason? My taima, what's his reasoning for his position? Meitav sadehu meitav karmo yishalem. Teha'ich tekam shalem. So the fact that it says, right, he also uses the pasuk, meitav sadehu meitav karmo yishalem. Teha'ich kam shalem. This means that the damages are paid from the one who is paying, meaning the damager. So it's all according to the quality that the damager has, as opposed to Rabbi Yishmael's opinion, where it's focused on the damaged, the field of the person who was damaged. Oops. Okay, that's the pasuk. For Rabbi Yishmael, ahani gzera shava v'ahani kra. This is interesting, I think. Rabbi Yishmael says, or would say, right, he's not here to have the conversation. Rabbi Yishmael would say that the gzera shava has an effect. It works. It does something. And the pasuk, kra, also has an effect. Meaning, Rabbi Yishmael takes into account both the meaning of the pasuk in its most simple form, which is sort of what Rabbi Akiva is going with, and also takes into account the meaning of the pasuk as understood through the gzera shava. Ahani gzera shava tikaka amina. The gzera shava works as was already explained, right? As we've already explained, as we said, the damager can pay with his lowest if his lowest quality is equal to the highest quality of the damaged, because it all goes according to the damaged. That's what we learned from the gzera shava. Ahani kra kigon de'it leila mazik idit v'ziburit. But we also apply the pasuk. The pasuk also works in a way, right? The pshat of the pasuk. Like in a case where the damager has good land and bad land, and the good land of the damaged, the idit lenizak, the ziburit mazik, lo shavya ki idit denizak, t'mishalev le mimitav didei. So the damager gets confusing. The mazik, the damager, has both good land and bad land. And the damaged only has really, really great land. He only has idit. Viziburita mazik, and the worst land of the damager is not as good as the good land of the person who is damaged. So in that case, the damager does have to pay from the best of his land, right? It has to at least match in quality to the land that was destroyed. He can't say, come take from my lowest quality land. Rather, he has to say, you can come take from the best of my land. This is an explanation, or maybe you could see this as a question, right, Rabbi Yishmael, what's going on? And an answer, but I'll put this as sort of a follow-up explanation of Rabbi Yishmael. Okay, we'll stop there.